Ever wondered if those, flashy VR workouts you see everywhere are actually the real deal?
Yeah.
Or just another tech gimmick?
Yeah, it's easy to be skeptical, isn't it? So many fitness trends pop up.
Exactly. But what if putting on a headset could genuinely be a game changer for, well, getting fit? That's what we're digging into today.
Hmm.
You're looking to get knowledge quickly, but properly, and that's what this deep dive aims for.
And our focus today is squarely on the science behind VR fitness. We're drawing heavily from this article. Is VR fitness legit or just hype? What the science says.
Right.
It really takes a hard look at the actual research to see if working out in VR, holds water.
Yeah, so our mission is pretty simple. Understand what the science actually tells us.
Hmm.
Is VR fitness worth pursuing if you want effective exercise? Let's get into it.
Okay.
What's the sort of main takeaway, the core argument from this scientific look?
Well, the central finding, and it seems pretty strongly supported by the research the article pulls together, is that VR fitness isn't just legit, it's not just a fad. It can be just as effective as traditional workouts. And sometimes
Even more effective.
more effective. Wow, okay.
Yeah, suggesting you could potentially get the same, or maybe even better, fitness benefits using these immersive virtual things.
Okay, let's unpack that. How do we even know if a workout is effective? The article mentions calorie burn, heart rate, VO euro. Can you break those down?
Sure. So basically, how hard you're working and how many calories you burn. It really boils down to how much energy your body's actually using.
Right.
And scientists measure this with a few key things. Heart rate, obviously faster beat means more work for the heart. But then there's oxygen consumption, VO. Now, heart rate gives us a clue. But VO euro, that's the volume of oxygen your body is actually consuming, it's seen as a more direct measure.
More direct? How so?
Well, it tells us more accurately how hard your muscles are working right down at the cellular level. Your muscles need that oxygen to burn fuel, right? And the fuel is calories. Ah, okay. So higher VO means you're working harder, burning more fuel. Makes sense. The article used a furnace analogy.
Yeah, it's quite a good one, actually. Think of your body like a furnace. Oxygen is the airflow fueling the fire.
Okay.
And the calories, that's the wood, the fuel itself. So the more oxygen your body pulls in, the more airflow, the hotter and faster it can burn through those calories.
Got it. So higher VO is more intense burn.
Exactly. Activities pushing up your VROs are generally tougher physically, burning more calories.
Right. Now, the article digs into a specific study from 2024. This one compared VR workouts with screen-based ones.
Yes, and what's interesting is how directly they compared the two. They got 17 volunteers and had them do a 12-minute intermediate boxing session in FitXR, the VR app. Then, crucially, the same volunteers did the exact same workout, but just watching it on a regular flat screen.
Oh, okay. So really controlled comparison.
Very controlled, yeah.
What did they find? What were the results?
So there were some subtle but pretty important differences. Heart rate, it was slightly higher in VR, but interestingly, not enough to be statistically significant.
Meaning it could have just been chance.
Exactly. Could have been random variation. But when they measured the oxygen consumption, that VOE we talked about, that was significantly higher during the VR workouts.
Ah, so the body was definitely working harder in VR.
Clearly. It indicates a greater physical demand in the VR version compared to doing the very same thing just watching a screen.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because it wasn't just the numbers, was it? What did the people doing the workouts say? How did it feel?
That's the kicker, right? Even though the VO Euro data showed it was more intense, the participants actually said the VR workouts felt more enjoyable.
More enjoyable, even though they were working harder.
Yeah, they used words like invigorating, exhilarating, stimulating. So, for you listening, trying to get useful info fast, the takeaway is huge. VR's immersion might make a tough workout feel less like, well, work.
That's a massive advantage. If you enjoy it more, you'll actually do it.
Precisely. Sticking with it is half the battle.
But the article is balanced. It mentions some limitations to this specific 2024 study. What should we keep in mind there?
Yeah, definitely important for context. Two main things the researchers flagged. First, the novelty effect.
The new and shiny factor.
Exactly. None of these volunteers had done VR workouts before. It's like, hiking a brand new trail. It feels exciting, maybe easier just because it's new. That initial buzz from the VR experience might have influenced how engaged they were, how much effort they put in. It might not last forever.
Good point. Newness wears off.
Yeah.
What was the other limitation?
The other was simply the short time frame. It was just one single 12-minute session.
Right, just a snapshot.
A snapshot, yeah. It tells us about the immediate reaction, how they felt right then, but it doesn't tell us if people would stick with VR fitness long term, or if that motivation would stay high.
Doesn't guarantee long-term adherence, as they say.
No, one good session doesn't make a habit.
Okay, so that 2024 study is encouraging, but it's just one piece. The article brings in other research too, right? Like the black box VR study from 2022.
Yes, exactly. We need that longer term view. The black box study is interesting because it looked at 12 weeks of resistance training.
Oh, weights and stuff, not just cardio.
Kind of. They compared using VR combined with actual cable resistance machines against people using standard gym equipment like normal cable machines.
Okay, so a direct comparison with traditional gym work over a longer period.
Over 12 weeks, yeah.
And the outcomes there. Was VR just more fun, or were there actual physical results?
Oh, the results were pretty compelling. The VR group didn't just have fun. They showed greater gains in strength compared to the traditional gym group.
Really? Greater strength.
Yep. And not just that, they also saw a reduction in body fat, improvements in cardiovascular health, and even lower blood pressure.
Wow. Okay, those are serious, measurable benefits.
Absolutely. So it suggests VR resistance training isn't just about the experience, it delivers tangible results. Things like more strength, less fat, stuff you're probably aiming for.
Definitely. And there was another one mentioned, the Supernatural app. What did they find there?
Yeah, they evaluated Supernatural's boxing and flow workouts. The key finding there was that these VR workouts measured up really well against some pretty demanding traditional exercises.
Like what?
Like stair climbing, sparring, like actual boxing sparring and high-impact aerobics. They found the VR workouts were just as effective.
So potentially a good swap if you find those other things boring or inaccessible.
Exactly. It suggests VR can be a really time-efficient way to get in a high-intensity workout, which kind of fits with wanting results without spending hours, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we have studies showing higher intensity than screen workouts, effectiveness matching or beating traditional methods for strength, cardio. So let's boil this down. What are the practical takeaways for someone listening? Actionable advice.
Right. Connecting the dots, a few key things emerge. First, and maybe this is the most crucial point the article makes, consistency is everything.
The holy grail of fitness.
Totally. If VR makes exercise more engaging for you, more enjoyable, that is a huge plus for actually building a routine you stick with.
Makes total sense. The best workout is the one you actually do consistently. What else?
Variety. Just like any fitness plan, mixing things up is important.
Keep the body guessing.
And the mind engaged. Trying different VR workouts, boxing one day, maybe dancing or exploring another, keeps it fresh, challenges different muscles, and helps avoid plateaus. You keep burning calories efficiently.
Good point. Don't just do the same VR game over and over.
Yeah.
What about time commitment? Do you need hours in VR?
No, and that's good news. The research suggests even shorter sessions pack a punch. The article highlights that just 15 to 30 minutes.
Oh, really? That short?
Yeah, 15 to 30 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 times a week can produce noticeable results.
That's fantastic. That fits into almost anyone's schedule.
It really does. It aligns perfectly with wanting effective exercise without dedicating huge chunks of your day. Very efficient.
Okay, so if someone's now thinking, all right, maybe I'll try this VR fitness thing, any advice from the article on picking the right apps or games?
Yeah, that's super important personalization. The article really stresses finding apps that click with you. Your preferences, your goals.
So not all VR fitness apps are the same.
Not at all. There's a huge range. Some are pure fun, really gamified. Others are more focused on tracking metrics, structured programs, maybe more immersive scenery.
Right.
Finding what you genuinely enjoy, whether it's the music, the competition, the escape, that's key to sticking with it.
Makes sense. Find your fun. Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. A quick summary. The science seems to be saying VR fitness. It's not just hype.
Doesn't look like it, no.
It can be as effective, sometimes maybe even more effective, than traditional workouts. Probably because it ramps up intensity, but also, and this seems key, makes it more enjoyable.
That seems to be the pattern. The physical demands are real, backed by data like Vioro, but that enjoyment factor might be the secret sauce for consistency.
So the aha moment here is realizing this isn't just a toy. It's a potentially powerful, engaging tool for hitting your fitness goals.
Precisely. And consistency, like we keep saying, is the absolute bedrock of any fitness success. If VR helps you build that, it's huge.
So for you listening, thinking about efficient, engaging ways to improve, how might VR fit into your life? Could this be the thing that finally makes exercise feel less like a chore and more like, well, fun?
Yeah, and maybe a final thought to chew on. If enjoyment is such a big driver for sticking with exercise,
Hmm.
could VR be the key for you, especially if treadmill miles or gym routines haven't really clicked before?
Hmm.
Or maybe, if that line between playing a game and getting a workout gets really blurry, does it even matter what label you put on it, as long as you're moving, feeling better, and getting healthier?